Right now on KGW, the heated exchange between President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky during a White House meeting today. Plus, the health alert from Washington after the state confirms its first case of the highly contagious measles virus. What you can do to keep your kids protected. And the update on yesterday's shooting at a military facility in Salem. What police are saying the man shot had with him. And later, the harrowing rescue of Skamania County after a trio of hikers got trapped during an atmospheric river. Your news at noon starts right now. Joining us this afternoon, I'm China Green. We start with an abrupt end to a tense meeting between President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The meeting at the White House was intended to kick off negotiations over a deal that would give the U.S. access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals. The breakdown in negotiation comes as a pivotal moment for Ukraine as Zelensky looked to garner security guarantees from the U.S. and comes while the Trump administration seeks to negotiate an end to the Russia-Ukraine war.
You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you?
So the Zelensky then abruptly left the White House without signing a critical minerals deal with the U.S. that Trump demanded and suggested it was a condition for future support for Ukraine. Now, we're also following reaction to that meeting. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk vowed to stand with Ukraine, writing on X, quote, "Dear Ukrainian friends, you are not alone." Meanwhile, here in the U.S., several Senate Republicans are voicing clear support for President Trump. Special government employee Elon Musk weighing in on X, saying, quote, "Zelensky destroyed himself in the eyes of the American people." We'll continue to monitor reaction from leaders here and abroad to bring you the latest right here on KGW, on our KGW Plus TV app, and on the KGW YouTube channel. All right, time to head over to Rod Hill for a look at weather. I got the shoulders out. I am ready for more 70 degrees. We might not get that, but at least 60s, right? But hey, let's talk about snow.
Yes, let's do that. I wanted to go up top to start because, you know, as a forecaster, you really get a good sense of how warm the overall batch of air is, what we call the air mass, when you start looking up in elevation. So here's our Timberline camera. Folks out there enjoying another bluebird day, and let's see how mild it is. 54 degrees with basically light winds up at 6,000 feet. We have clear skies for the most part statewide. This is a little hazy, but otherwise sunny blue. That's the camera at the Inn at Ottercrest down in Lincoln County, a little bit south of Lincoln City. Here's a look at our state capital. Sunshine, 55 degrees at noon. Keep in mind, a lot of us were in the 30s again this morning. This has already been an impressive warm-up. PDX is at 53. Now, yesterday, when we hit the record high of 70, it was 58. It was 5 degrees warmer, but we got a bit of a delayed start because of the fog this morning. So there's plenty of warm up yet in these numbers. We had 69. I've lowered our temperature to 68. We're at least going to warm up to 65, and we'll see how much beyond that we go. Your weekend does bring back clouds, cooler temperatures, and at least some rain. That's ahead of my complete forecast.
All right, thank you, Rod. We have a health alert this afternoon. The first confirmed case of measles in Washington this year. So this was detected in an infant who was likely too young to be vaccinated. Health officials say the child may have been exposed while traveling abroad. The infant has been in public at 4 locations we're about to see here on your screen around King County since becoming infected. The 3 medical centers are notifying people who might have been exposed. Health officials stress the importance of getting the MMR vaccine. And people who are fully vaccinated have at least 97% protection against disease. There are no active cases in Oregon. And the first dose of the MMR vaccine is typically given between 12 and 15 months of age, but the vaccine can be given to children as young as 6 months old. So if your child gets the vaccine early, it is not a replacement dose, but is given in addition to the 2 recommended doses. In other news this afternoon, we have new developments after a woman was found dead in a home in Beaverton. We're learning the victim was 83-year-old Marina Dye. Officers went out to the victim's home on Southwest Steelway just after 5 last night for a welfare check. That's when they arrested 76-year-old Joselito Dye for murder and unlawful use of a weapon. Joselito Dye is set to appear in Washington County Circuit Court sometime today. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Looks like 2 shots fired. The suspect is down with a knife in his hand.
We're continuing to follow a story that we brought to you as breaking news yesterday. Authorities have now identified the man shot by an Oregon State trooper outside a military facility in Salem. Police say 22-year-old Matthew Wong of Salem was killed after some sort of confrontation with an officer. This all happened around 10 yesterday morning outside the Army Aviation Support Facility on Turner Road at the Salem-Willamette Valley Airport. According to the Marion County DA's office, authorities say Wong showed up to the facility with a threatening note. A responding trooper found Wong outside of the guard station where that confrontation occurred and fired shots. No officers were hurt. The trooper involved, identified as Justin Oxenrider, has been with state police for 18 years. Salem police are now leading the investigation. Portland police say a man was killed on I-5 last night near Marine Drive. Police say the crash happened just after 10:30. We don't know who the pedestrian was or why they were on the freeway. The driver involved in the crash was taken to the hospital, but we don't have an update on their condition. We'll continue to update you as we learn more on this. And police arrested a man in connection with a deadly shooting that happened last weekend in Fairview. 31-year-old Deming Oakleaf is accused of killing 38-year-old Roman Shilashov. Shilashov's wife called police last Saturday night saying her husband left their home near Fairview Lake and never came back. His body was found nearby the next day. Oakleaf is charged with second-degree murder and unlawful use of a weapon. And take a look at your screen right now. This is definitely chilling as a woman. The Clackamas County Sheriff is trying to identify who this guy is. He allegedly took photos of a woman in a store dressing room. Deputies say this happened on January 30th at a store near Clackamas Town Center. The woman says that she was changing when she noticed a camera lens looking up at her from a hole in a bag on the floor. She confronted the man in the neighboring stall and took these photos right here as he was getting away. So if you recognize this man, call the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. And in Gresham, police say a 13-year-old admitted to shooting out the windows of 3 school buses with a BB gun. Officers confiscated the gun after he owned up to shooting at those buses. The case has been referred to the Juvenile Division of the Multnomah County DA's office. And this week on Straight Talk, a recent report shows despite some strides in 2024, the Portland Metro is still suffering economically. One of the reasons for that is an exodus of people from Multnomah County and a few of the surrounding counties taking their labor and tax dollars with them on the way out. We spoke with the lead economist of the report about bucking the trend of a fading economy here in the Metro. Here's what he had to say.
So while we could once count on growth without having to do much, we are now entirely reliant, or soon will be entirely reliant, on migration. And then the question is international versus domestic. And what we see in Multnomah County in particular, and Washington County to a certain extent, is the loss of people domestically. That's offset, thankfully, by in-migration internationally. But the root cause of the challenge that we're seeing in this region and many other urban areas have similar circumstances.
You can learn more about the state economic of the state Metro, including what he says everyone can do to contribute to a growing local economy on the next episode of Straight Talk. That airs this Saturday and Sunday at 6:30 and on Monday at 7, or watch it on your schedule anytime right here on KGW Plus TV app.